Welcome to another edition of Talk Out Loud. Tonight's broadcast is especially awesome because our guest tonight is an all-American legend of rock music that we know you want to reconnect with since he started his sabbatical 4 years ago. Former frontman of the chart-topping bands Neo Project Experience and Syphilis Goes Away, and a man whose last name I'm not legally allowed to say, Neo!
Hello, everybody. Hello.
I can't describe what a huge honor it is to have you sitting down with me here today. I have to say I'm a huge fan of your music, and I never thought in my 3 months of temping here at MTB that I would have a chance to meet one of the biggest rock sensations in modern history.
Modern history? Come on. Clearly I'm the biggest thing to happen to the music since, well, Jesus, ever. You name one person who has had a bigger impact on the industry than me.
Well, it could be argued that Beethoven...
Zach, I did not fly down here in my personal jet to talk about some dead guy. You wanted to talk to a star? Well, let's talk.
Now, your brand new Kneel Before God's debut album has already gone platinum, an unheard of 42 weeks before the release date, smashing the record held by Adam Levine's album 50 Shades of Gay. Now, it's a silly question to ask, but with big releases like this, do you ever get worried that the actual content won't live up to its hype?
Well, in my humble opinion, I always live up to the hype. When you're as smart and talented as me, failure does not exist. I'm always going to be special. What you call hype, I just call recognition.
Ha! Fantastic! Now, before we get to talking about your new album, I know your fans want to hear what you have to say about the breakup of your last band, the Neo Project Experience. We've all heard many sides of what happened to topple such a renowned band while holding the #1 Billboard spot. But in your own words, what can you describe where it all went wrong for you?
Well, it was pretty much the same thing that happened years earlier when we broke up the band Syphilis Goes Away. You know, after a while, a man gets tired of babysitting these prima donna musicians who come to the shows drunk, don't show up for practice, can't play any of the music I write, and they still want to get credit for this and props for that. They steal all the good-looking groupies, leaving me with the undesirable skanks that always give you something. Then, when I can't show up for practice because my cock is falling off, they whine. One day, I just wake up and said, you know what? No more. These guys have held me back long enough. I'm better than this. Time for me to move on.
Well, we had your drummer Johnny Gash from the Neo Project Experience in studio a few months back, and he seemed to have a different opinion of where things took a turn for the worse. We'd like to play a clip of that interview for you right now.
That guy was the laziest, most unprofessional musician I've ever worked with. Even worse than the work I did with Axl Rose. The guy did nothing but complain about your work ethic, while doing basically nothing but partying. He always did shows drunk. He never showed up for practice. He would take off for weeks at a time, always coming back with a new fake accent, leaving us to write the music. Then, when he came back, he would put us through weeks of rewrites. Then, when he couldn't come up with lyrics, we would scrap the song. Happened all the time. Then, when he got hooked on magic cards, that was it. He was a ghost. When he did show up for practice, we'd find him in the bathroom editing his deck. So we all got fed up around July and decided we were quitting. We left him hundreds of messages and figured he got the point. Then in December, the douchebag had the balls to text us, "I'm breaking up the band," even though all three of us were already in different bands.
If Neil was here right now, do you have anything you'd want to say to him?
Yeah, fuck you, Neil. You ruined your first band and did it again. You're a hack. You suck at life.
Well, some pretty harsh words there. Is there any truth to any of that, or is it just the nonsensical ravings of a former band member jaded by the bad breakup?
I didn't break up with them over a text. The message actually said, "I'm breaking up with you," and it was meant only for my fiancé. That was a personal text, and I don't think we should be talking about it on TV.
What about all that other stuff he said?
He was probably drunk. He's always drunk.
Now that that's cleared up, what can you tell us about what you've been doing for the last 4 years while on hiatus from the music world?
Well, I've been through some really heavy shit lately. I've had some really amazing spiritual breakthroughs through the Church of Scientology.
Oh, lots of famous people have been seen doing that.
Well, there I was at the Academy Awards. I wasn't nominated for an award, but you never know, right? So there I was sitting between Tom Cruise and John Travolta. Well, they were talking about how awesome their church was and how their leader, P-Bum Humperdinck, was going to take them to the bubblegum forest in his magic canoe. Well, I couldn't help but overhear, and Zach, I felt uplifted.
Can you tell us what drew you there?
They said all the right things, and when they showed me the mansion they hang out in and the yacht that the church owns, I was sold. So the next day, I bought a copy of P-Bum's Guyanetics, and I was in.
What do you guys do in the church?
We usually just slam beers and party on the yacht. It's really spiritual. John Travolta is a master at the magic cards. I was able to teach him a few tricks, though.
Well, I'm sold. How do I join?
Well, somebody with your fame score could only join the church at the ground level. Level 1 clearance can only get you into the hall they rent next to the Denny's downtown.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm so glad to hear you're happy. Sounds like you really found something amazing here. So now that you're a spiritually enlightened being, have you thought about maybe getting into producing like countless others have done while on a break?
I thought about producing, but I couldn't find an act that came close to my talent and vision that I would be willing to throw money at. And with all my charity work, I definitely didn't have time to write anything worth producing. I wanted to start a charity. That's where all the money is.
Can you tell your fans what sorts of charities you've been supporting?
Well, one of my charities helps Mongoloids, and another one is set up to help underprivileged bigots get jobs in law enforcement. Oh, and we just opened the Daniel Carver Foundation in Texas. And there's a bunch more that I don't even know what they do. I've been founding so many these days, it gets hard to keep track of them all.
Performing such noble and selfless acts must be so self-fulfilling.
I usually just show up and collect the checks. Then at the end of the month, whatever I haven't spent on booze and magic cards goes straight to the charities. All my charities are not for profit.
Great, Neil. Speaking of rewarding, it must feel good to finally bring home a Chody Award after being nominated several years in a row and losing to Joaquin Phoenix every time.
Yeah, I really feel like I've made history that day. And there's plenty more to come. Plenty more.
Fantastic. Now we're going to go to the Twitterverse and take a few questions from some of your fans. Balls Deep 44 from Kansas asks, who are your musical influences growing up?
Well, I really have no real influences. Growing up, we lived in a mobile home, and I didn't really have access to luxuries like music. If anything, when I was 8, I found an old tape of me singing at a Christmas pageant in the 1st grade. I was so blown away by how awesome I sounded. I knew from that point I was going to be a star.
What about Bob Dylan or Neil Young? You must have been influenced by their work at some point.
Well, like I said in my hit song, Never Look Up, you'll never be on top if you're always looking up.
Still one of my favorites. John C23 from Argentina agrees. We got a Twitter-sponsored Twitio question coming from U.S. military base in Kandahar. Marine Man 602 asked,
Yo, a couple of us guys here at the base have started jamming Friday nights as a way to stay away from the constant liquor and coke parties, and we wanted to know a couple things about the instruments you use. I've been using the new Ibanez F200, but I get a lot of buzzing from the neck. I noticed you were playing the same one in the video for Stay Behind Me. And I was wondering, A, did you tweak the intonation to make up for the curve in the neck, or did you change to a higher gauge string to make it work for that song? And B, are you still using this guitar today? If not, can you tell us what instruments you record with now? That's my question, and I just want to say, we all love you here at the base. I'm a huge fan. I love you, Neil. I love my mom, Sarah Honey. I can't wait to come home. Tom from the convenience store. Guy waters our grass. I love you all. I love you, America. Hoorah!
First off, I just want to say I support the troops over there fighting for my freedom to be excellent. I'm sure one of my charities sells wristbands or whatever to help pay for their war against the Buddhist terrorist bastards. Now, that guitar I had in that video wasn't the one I recorded the song with. Ibanez paid me a fuck ton to hold that guitar in the video to boost sales in military bases overseas. I, myself, never would touch one of those. Actually, the guitar I used in Stay Behind Me was a very expensive American-made Fender Stratocaster that was provided by Ego Records. I refuse to play any instruments that I don't get to keep afterwards. So my advice to you is go out, get sponsors to provide your band with free guitars, strings, drums, sticks, and anything else you need for your band. Why buy anything when there are so many companies out there giving this stuff away?
Oh yeah, great advice for all you aspiring musicians. Okay, we have one final question. The real Tom Smith tweets, can you describe the songwriting process on the new album? Good question, Tom.
Well, the first thing I did was create a killer drum beat on a Guitar Pro 5 that was so good that I had to use it in all of my tracks. Once that was out of the way, I freed up my mind to really get the creative juices flowing and come up with some of the best music I've ever written so far.
It sounds like a courageous move for you. To move from real drums to digital drums?
You wouldn't believe how stifling a whiny drummer can be to the process.
Are you worried at all about backlash from your hardcore fans?
AC/DC's been using the same drum beat for a century now, and I'm way better than them.
Your new album is brilliantly named Self-Titled. The album opens up with self-titled song Kneel Before God, which is also the first single of the new CD. This song is clearly going to be the next smoke on the water. Because you're going to blow us away later with a live performance in that song, let's talk about your second track title, Blowing for Columbine. It's a very interesting title for a song. Some would say daring. This song is going to be controversial. So could you take a minute to explain what the song means to you before we hear it for the first time?
Well, I was in a hotel room coked up getting a blowjob from Amanda Bynes, and on the TV was that documentary Bowling for Columbine. Then it hit me. After blowing my load onto Lindsay Lohan, I had no urge to shoot up a school. So I figured if the girls around the world would wake up, break free of those conservative old world views on sexuality and ignore the constant pressure society puts on them only to see outer beauty and just start blowing cocks, not just the beautiful ones, all cocks, across America, I really think the country could change overnight. There's never been a crime in history committed by a guy who just got his nut sucked off. I promise you, if guys start shooting off in girls' mouths, they will stop shooting off in schools.
That makes a lot of sense. I think it might actually work. Let's have a listen.
I'm so angry right now. My small penis insecurity has got me all riled up. Gonna go shoot up a school.
Oh my god, that kid has a gun!
Don't worry, I saved him.
When I came here today, I was gonna shoot up the school, but now I'm not gonna, cause she's sucking on my tool. Gonna mouth, I'm gonna mouth, I'm gonna mouth. Got the bullets loaded and the gun is cocked, but this time I'm not talking about my Glock. Gonna mouth, I'm gonna mouth, I'm gonna mouth. Yo kids, this is Kneel Before God here. If you get the urge to shoot up a school ever, reach out for support. Find a young lady librarian, lunch lady, have them suck on your nuts. Shoot your cocks off, not your Glocks. And ladies, get on your knees, do your part. Bring back the Women's Live movement. Don't just wait for some guy to grab you by the hair. To keep the kids safe, you have to be proactive. Blow for your friends, blow for your moms, blow for Columbine. Now put away your nines and pull out your threes. All you fine ladies, get on your knees. I'm gonna your mouth, I'm gonna your mouth, I'm gonna your mouth. I was gonna come up with another verse, but I'm gonna shoot off in this lady's mouth first. I'm gonna your mouth, I'm gonna your mouth. Oh my god, I'm about to explode.
Wow, you can really hear the transition from violence to love. Amazing. Now, tracks 3 through 5 clearly seem to be about your past band members and your animosity for them, especially your drummer.
No. If you listen to the lyrics of the songs, each one stands on its own and clearly has nothing to do with past relationships. Track 3, PC World, or otherwise known as Who Needs a Drummer, is about the rise of electronic music. That genre of music is becoming huge, and I wanted a piece of that action. Track 4, Little Drummer Boy, or otherwise known as Beneath My Wings, is about an eagle soaring high above the world's problems and the hanger-ons who every day pass by the same alley and shit all over a drummer boy who plays in the streets for nickels. But one day, for no reason, the bird decides to give the kid a piece of bread. Truly an inspirational story. The kid then becomes the birds forever. And track 5, I Don't Need You Anymore, You Guys, from my last band, is a song about the struggles of Africans who moved to Norway and have trouble counting fish. It's an affliction that happens to 4 out of 5 Africans who move to Norway.
All right, we're going to play a little track 4, but I wouldn't be surprised if all 3 aren't chart toppers in the next 4 weeks.
Hey, little drummer boy, sitting in the alley. Every day, I shit on you. Look at all the hanger-ons just passing by. They're watching me take a shit on you. Not offering you no Kleenex, no paper towel. Just watching me take a shit on you. Now you're sitting there. You don't wipe it off. You just leave it there. Now it's part of your skin. Reminds me of a shitty face, but hey, it's tomorrow now, so I'll give you a piece of bread. For no reason at all. Take the bread now and soak up all the shit. And place it in your mouth. You chew and swallow. Little drummer boy. Little drummer boy just became the birds forever. Now thank me.
Well, we shouldn't be allowed to play the next one, but since we paid the FCC enough money, they're going to allow it. Do you want to say anything about track 6 before we listen to it? Titled Tom Cruise Control.
It's so well written, I'll just let the lyrics speak for themselves. I went to Travolta Airfield, saw my lovers there through the windshield. They were ready to go in the air to start our 3-month love affair. We moved our pants off in the cockpit, took turns shaving our pubic rockets, loading a cruise missile. I'm in Tom Cruise control. I'm in love with John Travolta. Don't worry, Tom Cruise, there's room for both. Yeah, when it comes to my ass, you can both fuck me in first class. Flying over naval base, so covered in semen. With the wings in my face, I must be dreaming. Felt so exhilarated and free. Compounding me at Mach 3. Legs behind my head, they rim my asshole. We pick up people, he performs pterodactyl, eating his hairy bunghole. I'm in Tom Cruise control. I'm in love with John Travolta. Don't worry, Tom Cruise, there's room for both. Yeah, when it comes to my ass, you can both fuck me in first class.
Yeehaw! Yeehaw! Cornhole on the cob.
You taught me so much about gynecology. Now I found my bisexual biology. Having gay orgies with dicks inside me. Still not as gay as Scientology. Yay, that was a good song. Yeehaw, me mates. That was a good job.
What a song! Its crypticness is only surpassed by its mystery. And speaking of mysterious, here we are, track 7. Can you explain where this track came from and what inspired you to write it? It sounds like female backups, but nobody is credited on the tracks.
That song I'm especially proud of. If my fans could really see how this song came about, then they'd know I really performed a miracle that night. I had just finished poning some prostitutes at Magic the Gathering, cutting loose with some Coors Megalite. I picked up my acoustic, hoping that the sweet melodies would lull them to sleep so I wouldn't have to pay. So there I was, strumming away like there was no tomorrow. The hookers were just falling asleep when out of nowhere, my landlady starts banging on the door, yelling about rent being due. Rather than dealing with her face to face, I took the mature road, turned on the recorder and jammed. I didn't think I had more than a B-side until I mixed in the drum track. Then I knew I had a monster on my hands. That drum beat is amazing. If there was a devil's fifth in drumming, I had found it.
Let's hear it. This is Rent's Due on Talk Out Loud.
Hello? Hello, rent's due? Hello? Hello, I know you in there. I hear hooker. I know you home. I hear hooker. I smell. charge me on phone. Hey, you don't pay rent. Hey, Rob. Hey. Hey, you. Hello, our rent's due.
What raw emotion! I almost teared up at the end there.
You cried. Don't lie on TV.
Ha! Okay, you got me. Track 8, or part 2, the second part, as it's titled, is a very abstract piece of music, the likes of which I don't think we've ever heard since Paul McCartney teamed up with Yokozuna.
Actually, I think that was Ringo.
You're right. Tell us a little bit about the culmination of the song, specifically the title, because I checked my albums at home and I could not find part 1.
Well, Zach, that's because I haven't released part 1 yet. When I sent the version of the CD with part 1 on it, the FCC basically told me I couldn't have too much awesomeness on one album. They were afraid it would cause widespread anarchy. Do you believe that? I have to ration off my talent like some awesomeness fountain? Well, I saved that part for my next album, and I'm planning to go to at least 3 or 4, maybe even 5. Let's check it out, and I think you'll all agree it's awesome. This is part 2.
On Talk Out Loud.
I'm not saying that.
Laser, laser, laser. Space, space, space. Time, time, time. Epic, epic, epic. Alien, alien. Thunder, thunder, thunder. God, God, God. Magic, epic, epic, level, prostitute, prostitute, kneel before God is the best ever, is the best ever, is the best ever, you guys.
Amazing! Can't wait to hear the full studio release of that song. Really masterful use of the auto-tuner. Something I know personally a lot of artists are struggling with.
Yeah, well, I've been using auto-tuners to tune my guitars since my teens. Just seemed natural to bring it into the studio.
So track 9 is an interesting concept. It seems like you recorded a cover of a song you wrote with your last band, the Neo Project Experience.
Well, and trust me, I hate to think of those things in business terms, but the truth is that I picked a song I knew wouldn't sound bad, no matter what I did to it. That song was number 1 on the billboards, and I wanted to dial in on the fame of that. You don't cover the bad songs, that's just bad business.
I listened to it a few times now and it really sounds a lot better. Can you take us through all the things you changed in this version?
Now, the reason it sounds better is because it is better. My producer remastered it with the most expensive sound technology on earth. Pair that with the addition of the new drum beat and you have an instant modern classic, a cult favorite.
Alright, let's play the clip. This is Stay Behind Me Some More on Talk Out Loud.
Behind me you stay, syphilis goes away. This is a message to me new mates, that if you forget your place, you will suffer the same fate. Always I'll be in front, stay behind me all you can, and you will stay. rest of you Johnny Gas, stay behind me.
The last track on the self-titled album is really special. It's a redux of the first track, which is something I don't think you have ever done before. Can you give us a brief explanation as to why you chose to add this as a bonus track?
Zach, all of my songs are bonus songs. You really have to search to find me and my glorious message filled in these songs. They are a bonus to all of you.
Okay, so we're gonna take a short commercial break, but don't go anywhere, because when we return, you're gonna get to hear his new hit, Kneel Before God, for the first time ever.
Actually, I released it on YouTube months ago.
Well, you're gonna hear him play his new hit song live in studio for the first time ever.
Actually, I played it at my landlady's bar mitzvah last week.
Just got to commercial. Hello everybody, welcome back to a very special episode of Talk Out Loud. Neo's going to perform his new hit, unreleased track, hot off the press for the first time ever. If you didn't attend Ling Wong's bar mitzvah, Neo's currently backstage with the text, getting ready to play for y'all. I hope you guys are excited as I am. Let's give him a huge round of applause and pump him up with our good vibes. Who's ready to hear the song? I can't hear you. I said, who's ready? Okay, let's bring him out. Ladies and gents, Kneel Before God!
No, hold on. I can't play these songs under these circumstances. It states in my contract, I do not play instruments unless I can keep them afterward.
Well, we knew that. I just thought maybe you'd bend the rules this one time. It's a really special guitar that survived with my grandfather all the way through Vietnam. He was a huge fan, and it would really mean a lot to him.
No.
You know what? As much as it means to me, it mean a lot more for my grandfather and the fans if you played a song on it tonight. You can keep it after.
I don't want that guitar. It's a piece of crap. To be blunt, I don't want it in my collection.
Well, okay. How about we do the performance, then at the end you can sign it and donate it to one of your charities. My grandfather would appreciate it. It's going to a good cause.
Yeah, but then who's going to pay me the $500 fee for my signature?
Well, you're kind of putting me on the spot here, Neil. But I'll tell you what, I have $300 on me right now. Does that cover it?
Yeah, that'll work if I only have to sign half my name. There's a reason behind why us artists charge for autographs. You think it's easy to sit in a chair all day, meeting hopeless nobodies, faking a smile, trying to remember the stupid name they mumbled, telling me how great it is to meet me, when clearly it's a huge pain in the ass for me. So don't tell me my autographs aren't worth $500.
No, I wasn't saying that at all. I actually bought an autograph of yours on eBay for twice that. It was a picture of your autograph that you signed, inside the letters, with white pen. I bet you never did that before. You signed your own signature. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember every autograph I do. No, I don't remember every sick kid I meet. I don't remember every teenage girl who comes backstage and makes me do things to them that would make her dad turn Muslim. I'm sorry that my life isn't so void of meaning that I have to just attach to these existential experiences of people through whom I live so vicariously that without them I can hardly be said to have lived at all. Don't get me started on the pictures. All these kids do anymore is take pictures. I saw a kid taking a picture of his friends taking pictures. They don't even realize the harm they're doing to their bodies. In the doctor's office, they make you wear a lead vest when they take pictures to keep your soul from being sucked out into the camera. And all these kids are running around practicing unprotected photography. They'll eventually see how much it takes a toll on their soul. Ooh, that would make great lyrics.
That's very good advice for today's youth, but we're getting a little off topic. How about this idea? I'm just going to throw this out there. We have 5 minutes left in the show. If we can raise the other $200 for an autograph from Kickstarter in the next minute, would you be willing to play your hit song on my priceless family heirloom for your fans?
I'd consider it.
Seeing as how we have a minute here, let's pull a question out of the Twitterverse.
I'm game.
Z Childman at Whatever Studio asks, why don't you stop being such a stuck-up, fake English baby and just play the song? Man up and fucking play. If I lose my job because of you, I'm gonna take my grandpa's guitar and shove it up your ass. Whoa! How'd that get through the screening process? Sorry about that, Neil. Clearly me or the producer of this show don't think that. You know how it is when you're recording live? Let's go see how much we raised towards the performance so far. Wow! The minute is up and we received $10,389. That's more than enough. Big shout out to your agent who pledged $200, and the rest came from a vigilante group calling themselves the Neophytes.
Who?
Okay, so we got the money, and then some. We got the guitar. How are you feeling, Neil? You ready to perform live in front of a full studio of diehard fans?
Well, I was going to play until I noticed that Asian kid sitting in the front row. I really don't think your grandfather would appreciate if I serenaded the enemy.
Alright then. Seeing as how this is going to be my last night as host of Talk Out Loud, who gives a shit? Maybe I should just go crazy and take my clothes off and start shitting on all your fans like you do. Oh, I guess my producer... Oh, I can't do that.
Smart guy.
So in the next 3 minutes left on the show, let's discuss the music video for Kneel Before God. We've heard a lot of rumors about it being directed by Michael Bay. Can you confirm or deny whether this is true?
We did send a script to Michael, but clearly his people haven't given him the package yet because we haven't heard anything from him yet.
Anyone you want to name as a backup director?
I'm holding out for Michael. I really believe he will jump at the chance to work with me. I won't do the other video if we can't get him to direct.
Can you give your fans an idea of what to expect when the video is released?
Yes, actually it tells a heartwarming tale of a stuntman who dies during a huge action-packed intro. Bikes jumping over helicopters, dinosaurs jumping over bikes, the works. Real epic Michael Bay shit. And then the song starts. The first thing you hear is the drums as the stuntman, let's call him Neil, floats upwards towards heaven. He kicks down the pearly gates, barges through heaven, walks right up to the giant golden doorway of God's mansion. Bang, 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 he knocks. And when the doors open, this giant mongoloid god walks out with his hard hat on, or his water wings, or whatever, and falls over and Neil catches him. Sensing his pain, Neil begins stroking his hair and feeding him marshmallows until he falls asleep. At which point, Neil resurrects alive and well on top of the rubble.
Brilliant! That sounds epic!
Yeah, and I will add that I'm going to be the very first person to depict God as a mongoloid. Lots of people have portrayed him as a woman, or a black person, or even as a Nazi.
Such courage! You are truly a Superman! On your MySpace page, you've listed an extremely ambitious tour schedule. 368 shows listed in 1 year. I don't even think James Brown could top that.
Yeah, my team is really excited about this tour. It's been 4 long years. 4 hard years, and I know my fans are thirsty to drink from the fountain of Neil.
I went online to buy my tickets this morning, and I noticed that you only have 1 venue listed. When can your fans expect a full listing of venues on the schedule?
Zach, have I got a bombshell for you? When you have an album that is this extraordinary, you can't have an ordinary tour. I really wanted to do something special, something really crowd-breaking. This tour is going to go in the Concert Tour Hall of Fame. I've already paid for the new plaque.
I'm literally going to jizz right now. How about your fans out there? Are you guys ready to jizz? Go ahead, Neil. Drop the bombshell.
Now, when you go see a concert today, there's always something missing. The bond between the fan and the artist is broken. Bands have become so unpersonal that they are disconnecting further from their audience, hiding behind enormous stages and pyrotechnics and security guards. Doesn't even matter who you're going to see. Van Halen, Metallica, there's always something missing. Now, the fans who are smart enough to come and see my show are going to experience the personal closeness that they have been so wrongfully denied by these other so-called acts. Each ticket sold guarantees the buyer backstage access for one, including a 10% discount on signatures.
And the dam burst!
Alright, Zach, are you ready? I'm going to tour from my house. Doesn't get more personal than that. It's where I spend most of my time. You'll get to see me in my studio, where I make all the magic happen, my bedroom, where I perform the magic, the bathroom, where I shit the magic, and my playroom, where I play the magic, the gathering. After a short tour of the estate, the fans will be then ushered to my basement theater, where I will perform the new album in its entirety and some of my old songs, as long as everyone promises not to tell my old band. Then, if you purchase the backstage pass, you get to come upstairs for a meet and greet. There will be lots of food and drugs. I mean medicine.
That is incredible! Absolutely unheard of! So for the few that pay extra for the backstage pass, they actually get to hang out with you all night!
Probably not. I'm legally obligated to do a 5-minute meet and greet. Then I grab a bottle of cocaine whiskey and disappear into my bedroom where the girls hot enough to get more than a backstage pass are waiting. Clothing is optional if you catch my drift.
Sounds like a blast! You would have no choice but to kill yourself if you miss this historic show. I have one final question for you before we part ways. Give us one final piece of neo-wisdom you would like to share with your fans who use your music as a tool to help them deal with the daily torrents of problems hurled at them by society each and every day.
People with problems are stupid. They should just get famous.
And that wraps up this episode of Talk Out Loud. See you in 3 hours. Can you get me a more backstage pass?
Well, I have been known to choose a co-pilot from time to time. We'll see how drunk I get.
If you thought that was funny and would like to hear more, click on the next skit. If you'd rather watch TV while playing on your iPhone with all the lights on in the house, go fuck yourself. Choose your own adventure.